Hello angels, welcome to season 2, episode 2. Today I'm really diving into creating more awareness and more consciousness around cannabis and how it really is a tool. So it can be used for healing, but it can also be used for destruction. So I know that sounds really dramatic, but you will see in the episode why I refer to it this way. So let's get to it. Hope you enjoy. Hello, angels. Welcome back to whatever episode I've decided to call this one, because I'm not sure what I'm up to. I've kind of been really in flow, which is awesome. I have never been this creative, absolutely just smashing out content, which is so awesome because I've been wanting to be in this flow state for such a long time. And I kept traveling and trusting the process and knowing that in the right time I will get the right hit, and it's not in my feminine energy to force anything. So we're finally here. We finally made it to the point where I am able to, create videos and things and record, a lot easier, than before. I guess when I'm not in states of feeling creative, that's when I need to honor that energy, and knowing that rest is productive, and knowing that when I'm not inspired, that is inspiration in itself. And when I'm not feeling inspired, that is what I need to just do whatever I need to do in that moment to then foster an even better comeback. So I guess that sort of message is, when you aren't feeling like you're doing the right things, or you've got things that you want to do and it's just not right for now, and you don't seem to be getting them done, that's okay. Let that happen, because if you were to create in that energy, it's going to be forced, and it's not going to come from flow. It's not going to come from source. It's now coming from a place of forcing yourself to do something. And I genuinely think that is one of the worst things you can do, because creativity is supposed to be something that we enjoy, and the process is supposed to be enjoyable, and it isn't about what comes out at the end. It's about the process. So if you're going to go ahead and force yourself to, I don't know, if you're a content creator or whatever you do, if you're going to force yourself to create content, or you're going to force yourself to crochet, or you're going to force yourself to sew, or force yourself to whatever it is, now you're taking the fun out of it. And now you're turning something that was supposed to be fun and supposed to be enjoyable, and now you're making it work. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you do that? So this is also for me too. As you know, anything I say on here, I am preaching to myself to hope that I also listen as well, which I do. I honestly, there are times where I am just being superhuman, and no, not superhuman, like super space human, super in my human, and lacking myself and doubting my abilities. I literally have put on my podcast before, because I know that I know that there is things that I just need to be reminded of, and this is actually one of those times. I am feeling pretty flat. I felt pretty flat all day, to be honest. And honestly, I just wanted to reach for Mama G, and kind of take the pain away that way, which is not how we do things here. We smoke consciously, we smoke intentionally, and we use it as a tool to support us in our healing, not a tool to escape. So weed is a tool, just like a knife is a tool. A knife can be used to chop vegetables and make an amazing dish for yourself that is so nourishing and so good for you and so healing on a mind, body, and soul level. Not only because the nutrients are good for your body and to promote healing of your cells, and regeneration of your cells, also for your mind. The vegetables are giving you great dopamine, because we know that feeding the food that we feed ourselves does go to our brain. And also for your soul, to eat high vibrational foods is so important. So that's a way that a knife can be used in a really positive way. But a knife can also be used for murder and gross bodily harm. So we have tools, and it is really up to you as the chef to decide to use the tools for your growth and healing or for your destruction. So weed is not exempt to that. Weed can be incredibly healing for the body. So CBD, reducing inflammation, THC to act on our pain receptors to lower our perception of the pain. Personally, it's been the only thing that's helped me with my chronic period pain. Also for the mind, it helps us slow down. CBD, for me, I mean, I'm not formally diagnosed with ADHD or ADD or any neurodivergence, but I know that my brain sober in its natural essence is like go, 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 go. There's 1,000 things going on. And like when I watch those videos where it's like POV, this is what it's like to have ADD or whatever. And it's just like constant talking, like just so much talking. So for me, smoking or whatever, having my oils or edibles or whatever really allows me to just slow the frick down and focus on one thing at a time and be present and not be pulled away from the present moment. And yeah, obviously the last one, weed is so incredibly healing for my soul, back to pulling myself back into the present moment, to really feeling in awe of pretty much anything, but particularly in awe of nature and in awe of Mother Gaia, this earth that we live on. Last night, I literally had like one of my peak moments where I have like been, specifically manifesting just being able to sesh on my own with an incredible view. And last night I had this realization as I was lighting up and I'm looking at the mountains and I'm like, oh my God, inner fucking peace, honestly. So yeah, really happy to feel at peace, and to have that manifestation come to light. So yeah, look, we've gone all the way around. But my point being that, look, weed is a tool and it can be used in a bad way. And I will be the first to admit that I have many, many, many times, especially around 2020 and 2021, using weed as a distraction. Pretty much for 2020, I would smoke like clockwork. Like I would clock off from my job that I hated, working from home. I would clock off, I would race downstairs to the balcony and I would light up and then I would go for a walk, which, look, is both incredibly healing, mind, body, and soul. I was moving, I was being out in nature, I was doing something for my soul, but it largely was being used as a distraction. And I think for me, I noticed that in my consumption and my dosages. So when I am using quite regularly, honestly, for me, like, I think it's not even about how regular, it's not even about that. It's about how much I consume, because I could be smoking I could just have a couple of puffs every day at nighttime and still work that into my routine, and it helps me wind down and it helps me get to sleep. But if I am having, say a whole J, a whole spliff in one night, that's quite a lot. And like, when I'm going out and, other people are drinking, I will choose to smoke, as I prefer that. And it's just a better version of me. Like, I am in line with my spirit, rather than versus when I have spirits like alcohol, I basically turn into like the worst version of myself ever. want to say ever, because like all the bad things that I've done, and like I say not to have regrets, but all the regrets that I have are from being intoxicated by alcohol. And I'm pretty sure so many people can relate to this. This isn't groundbreaking. This isn't new knowledge. So yeah, personally for me, I'll be smoking instead. And when I'm on, nights out, my consumption will definitely go up. Or if I'm seshing and it's like a whole thing, and I'm planning to enjoy myself, then I'll definitely have higher consumption. But yeah, I think as a daily practice, it's really being aware of how much you're going through, and just being aware of that. Like, that is all it is. And so my biggest advice on this would just be, and this can be applied to like absolutely anything, like any sort of vice, like whether it's weed, whether it's alcohol, whether it's shopping, whether it's, I don't even know, like food, really try and process what you can before you reach for said vice. So I really wanted to reach for it today, because I was just kind of like feeling pretty meh, pretty like disconnected to the magic of life, and I still posted some things, and I still, did the things that creatively get me in flow, but ultimately my soul knows when it is the right time to reach for it and when it is the wrong time. And even then, I just rolled up and I was like, okay, what are we thinking? How are we feeling? And I was just still like not feeling right. And it's really, really important that you don't reach for the things that'll give you a high when you're at a low. And I mean, I know this isn't new information, but I really want to reiterate it because I know that there are so many people that can hide, like, I mean, me, this is me. So don't I'm saying this to me as much as I'm sharing this message, is that, it is quite easy for people who smoke to hide under this stoner persona of like, haha, I'm all high vibe and I'm chilling and I'm like vibing, and no, don't worry about me, like I'm not hurting anyone. And yes to all of those things. They are all so true. You're not hurting anyone, you're vibing, but also we can't take away the darkness, because that is when the paranoia starts to come in. And that is, I mean, more relatable, I think, for chronic users. I know that it just kind of stops working, and then you're consuming more and more and more, and you're just not even getting high, and you're just like, you're just now still with those thoughts that you were trying to escape from before. So it doesn't work. The only, I think it works for a while, you can keep pushing it, but genuinely you can't really fully run. You can delay it, sure. You can delay the process of your awakening, and that's exactly what I did. But also there's this piece, and then there's also the piece of releasing shame around your use, because that's something that, particularly in countries where recreationally it's illegal, and particularly in countries where even medically it's still shamed. So do not have shame in your use. Know that you are literally choosing one of the least harmful drugs out there to self-medicate, but it's really up to your own individual compass, and making sure that you're intentional with it, and making sure that you do more of a ritual. And I think what I was guided to share this message on is because last night I did kind of reach for it a little too early. I hadn't, set up my whole bed routine, and I hadn't, prepared the food that I knew that I was going to eat, and I ended up slicing my freaking finger open. And so I sliced it open, and then I like ran it underwater. I don't even know what you're meant to do. And then I'm like seeing how much it's really sliced. Like, I've cut myself before while cooking high, and like I just thought it was a little cut. It wasn't even it wasn't even hurting because of like how much was going on. And so I just thought it was a little cut, and I'm washing under the water, and like so much blood is coming out. And I'm like, oh shit, because when I've like cut myself when I'm high and I see blood when I'm high, it really doesn't go down well. And I race to go get my bandages. I'm literally like, I've got the first aid kit sprawled across the bench. And now my vision is really starting to go. My head is starting to like, whew. And then I'm like trying to find water. I'm like opening the fridge, plastic bottles falling out of the fridge, trying to grab some water. And like I quickly run to go lay down because I'm so close to passing out. And this is like scary because I'm just like, oh my God. I'm also having these thoughts of like, thank God it is just a small cut, because if something happens and I'm solo, like that's kind of a scary thought. And so, yeah, so that sort of paranoia did kind of sink in a little bit, but, this isn't the first time, I've felt like, oh, I wish I wasn't this high. So yeah, you just breathe through it, and I got through it and I made it. But immediately after, I was just like, okay, what is the lesson I can take from this, so that I don't make this mistake again? And really it is that weed is so sacred, and it is a plant medicine. And this is why so many people have a bad experience, because they kind of just have it and they don't treat it as this sacred thing. Like people just, have it at a party, or they'll have it after a night of drinking, or somebody like has it at some freaking gathering, I don't know, and you haven't surrounded yourself with the right people, or you haven't like got snacks around you, or now you've done it in a place that's like super dense and super like, you're in the city or something, and now you've got to get out of these things are a result of not treating weed as a sacred plant medicine, and that's what it is. And I was really, really humbled last night as I sit here with my sore finger in a Band-Aid, because I didn't set it up as a ritual. And so this here is kind of like my vow to myself of like, I really need to check myself. And with that Capricon Full Moon coming up, that really is about incorporating structure into your life so that you can be, and so that in the moments where you are ready to wind down and relax, you've set up the structure so that you can fully do that. So in this instance now, I'm going to make sure I go and get food and then smoke, or prepare my food before I'm going to smoke, like prepare my clothes on my bed, like for my shower, all these sorts of things. Keep the dangerous shit out the way. Like I'm honestly embarrassed to admit that I did that high. Like I don't want the like perception of weed to be now, something that's scary and something that's dangerous. But also we need to be real, and we need to be transparent with ourselves in that it is a powerful plant medicine. And when you think about plant medicine, I think of ayahuasca. That's not to be fucked with, okay? I don't know if anyone on here has done that, but flippin' hell. That shit is crazy. I don't even know how to describe it. You don't mess with plant medicine. You don't. You treat it as sacred. You have it intentionally. You set a ritual around it. And this is actually so timely because a brand that I'm super excited to work with, so stay tuned, they have messaged me and asked to interview me about my weed journey, which is like a literal dream to be able to speak so openly about something I'm so passionate about. Is so incredible to me. But this has come really timely because I need to be honest and transparent, because it's not to be fucked with. And it's the same with mushrooms as, fungi, not plant medicine, but fungi medicine. That's not to be messed with. It's the same thing if you're going to have mushrooms or any sort of plant medicine, but speaking on the mushrooms, you need to set up your whole day to facilitate that. You need to cut up fruit and you need to cut up bread or whatever you want to eat. I would highly recommend high vibrational foods, because actually it was mushrooms that sort of got my meat consumption down, because after a trip, looking at meat was like the most horrifying thing in the world, because I was just one with the earth and one with everything. So every time I do have mushrooms, I kind of come back to that. Oh, okay, maybe I'm going to think a little bit about my meat consumption. And I still eat meat today, but like salami is my total weakness. As an Italian, salami just makes me crumble, and cheese, as a French person, that also just makes me absolutely melt. So I still eat these things, but I'm saying, with mushrooms, set up your practice, cut up your food, set up like all sorts of things that you might think you'll want, like journal or like pens and paper to draw. Be in a nature environment. Make sure that you're not planning to go out that night or some crap. You're not gonna want to, let me tell you. I remember the first time I did them, and the group that I was with had plans to go out that night, and I already knew that I wouldn't want to. So I should have listened to my gut, but we did them. And then afterwards I was just wrecked. And the last thing I wanted to do was be in a place where like people were drinking and people were drunk. That's just that is the furthest thing from mushrooms. So back to my point. It's really about treating this stuff, the things that alter your brain. There needs to be some ritual and intention and sacredness around it. It's honestly for me the same thing about alcohol. Like last night, so rogue of me, I was Saturday night, I'm vibing on my own. I'm in the village, go to one of my favorite places, looking at the mountains, and I'm looking at this like €4 glass of Naxos rosé, and I'm like, why do I want this? And then I had this sort of like, Bella, what the hell? Like, you don't drink alcohol. Like, you don't. Why would you drink that? And then I'm like, no, you know what? I'm here to have the human experience, and if I want to have some wine that was produced in the region that I'm in, while I eat a Greek salad where everything is literally locally produced, and while I eat the bread and dip the bread into the olive oil and that bread is locally produced, fucking oath, I'm going to do that. So, but still, it's about creating that sacred nature about it, like being conscious and having that thought of, okay, do I need a glass of wine? Like, okay, well, I've got to get some things from the market after. Do I, am I going to want to be doing that tipsy? And sure enough, it was fine. It was funny. But really be conscious when you're going to have these mind-altering substances. For alcohol, like I really make sure to just stay grounded as well, before and after, because it is something that, does send me for a six sometimes. Like is that even the expression? I don't even know. But a lot of alcohol really just doesn't go down well with me. But when I'm in a conscious position and I'm feeling good, and I don't know. I guess you just got to be conscious about it. And I, got back home and I kind of felt that that icky feeling of like when you do have a drink and then you're kind of coming down from that. And I felt that and I was like, I don't love this, but there we go. Like I made a conscious decision and it is what it is. And now tonight I can go to dinner with that same information. I can choose to not have a glass and feel better, or I can choose to have a glass and have that sort of same feeling. So it's completely up to you. You get to choose, you get to decide, but in these decisions, I promise you won't regret if you're conscious about them. And if you just think about them a little bit longer than you had in the past, and all that really is tapping into your intuition and really tapping into your higher self. And tapping into your higher self is really making a decision that is for your greater good. And ultimately me starting a sesh way too early without having prepared food and without, I didn't really plan any structure for the rest of my night. that meant it cost my future self a decision, and it cost my future self a whole lot of pain when I sliced my finger open. So yeah, I just wanted to share that message. Stay conscious, stay aware, stay intentional, and enjoy creating a ritual, because I guarantee you, if you harness that Capricorn energy and you create that structure, you're going to have a way better time. You're going to feel way higher. You're going to feel way lighter. Like, you're just going to feel better because you've set yourself up to be on a higher frequency prior to the mind-altering substance. And it really just makes for a better time, honestly, because now you're using that tool in a conscious way. You're now chopping up vegetables, if you know what I mean. Like, we're not going in with this same chaotic destruction. We now have some structure around our process. So yeah, I hope that resonated with you guys. Let me know, what your experiences is, or even what your tips are, like, for your rituals, because I think I absolutely love hearing like what people's rituals are and what their tips are. Oh my goodness, pardon me. So yeah, if you're feeling brave and if you're feeling like you want to share, I would absolutely love to hear it. And once again, thank you so much for being on here. I'll say it and I'll say it again. If this, one little thing resonates with one person, I really feel like that's mission complete for me. And it is, you guys that really, really do allow me to feel in service. And that is ultimately what we can all do. We all have gifts. Yes, you have a gift that deserves to see the world. And I want to see your gifts. I want to hear your gifts, whatever that is. And if you don't know, I know how you feel, because I was there for a very long time. It feels like a very long time that I denied my gifts. But honestly, the more that you step into the version of yourself and just give less fucks, honestly, just give less of them, because I can guarantee you the fucks that you give now are not going to matter in a year, honestly, or less than. Like, it depends on the fuck, obviously, but just give less fucks, do it on little things, and then you'll slowly be able to work your way up. And then before you know it, you'll be posting whatever you want, because social media is not for your friends. Instagram is not like whether or not your friends like your posts. Instagram or social media is for you as a creative vessel to express whatever the hell you want in this lifetime, and enjoy the process. So fuck the likes, fuck the comments, post what you want. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for being here. Mwah. Have a magical rest of your day.